Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 342 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined as always by the final X'd out, the pride of Easton, Pennsylvania, Willie Saylor. To my right, Daniel Roy Lobdell Jr., or as we call him, DRLJ, starting today. And to my left, Stephen Kyle Brackey, who came back from his homeland with some new nice West Virginia gear.
Yeah, nice little swag.
Nice, and he has a mini helmet for his for when he commits adultery against this podcast and joins another podcast.
West Virginia.
Download and subscribe to the bootleg.
Yes, please
West
download.
Virginia
Subscribe,
for Cock.
unsubscribe, resubscribe.
Orioles baseball for Nomad. Hey, Kyle lost his head coach.
We did.
That's the biggest thing that happened.
We found a new one though, and I'm excited.
Okay, I hope everyone else isn't hearing the music, but I hear it in my ear. There it goes. Okay, I'm not having a moment. Okay, so a lot of stuff to get into because we haven't had this show since the Midlands and Scuffle ended. We had one right before Midlands, Willie and I, just an old school special. He did it from the floor. He was helping guys check their weight and whatnot. That was a nice little added dynamic. But we haven't got to talk about what happened at Midlands, what happened at Scuffle, and I want to kind of start with what's coming up this week, and something I think is actually a good thing, but it was an annoying thing for a little bit there. So on December 31st, we get word Gavin Teasdale is wrestling at the Southern Scuffle, right? One of the tournament directors lets us know. It's very routine. Throughout the process, he's like, hey, this guy's in, this guy's out. Makai Lewis is out. Teasdale's in. Okay, wow, cool. He's also wrestling attached. Big deal. So write it up. Good stuff. He's in the bracket. This is very routine. This occurs all the time. Then, Happy New Year, everyone, by the way, on January 1st. Gavin Teasdale is scratched on the day of the tournament. Another thing that is actually pretty common and happens routinely. So no Gavin, right? This is fine. Well, except everyone started freaking out. And normally, being on social media a lot, just because it's part of this job, you learn to kind of filter out when it's a thing and when it's just like a couple people. And this was like a thing that people thought that I fabricated this story or came up with something. Now, what the end game there would be for me to do that, I'm not sure, and they didn't really think that through either because I don't know what the benefit of completely lying about something that wasn't going to happen would be, but in their minds, it was something that they think I would want to do. So you get all this like fake news, all this nonsense, and I was like, you know what? And a couple people reached out to me, and it was cool. And they're like, dude, don't worry about it, not a big deal. And I didn't think it was. And then I was like, actually, this is probably a good thing. It's actually a good signal. It's an annoying thing that's a good signal, right? And I felt the same way about this Dayton Fix Nick Soriano thing. So I tweet yesterday, Happy Monday, it's Dayton Fix versus Nick Soriano week, right? To which, and again, my filtration system's good. I know when it's just like an isolated idiot and when it's like there's a number of people that really feel this way. And maybe low IQ wasn't the right word for the Teasdale freaker-outers or the Soriano kind of haters, we'll call them. They're ignorant. Because to suggest that we would fabricate a Teasdale story when we had the email from Penn State to the Scuffle saying he's entered, and to suggest that Nick Soriano or Dayton Fix, this match wouldn't happen, is to not know the nature of these two competitors. On the one hand, Dayton Fix literally wrestles everywhere all the time exclusively. One time he was sick for the Scuffle, but basically only wrestles. Like the guy just wrestles everything. Final X, Super 32, Who's Number One, et cetera, et cetera.
Flow Nationals.
He wrestled at juniors when he was still cadet eligible. Then he wrestled at cadets. So the guy only wrestles. But the majority of it was Soriano. They're like, this match isn't going to happen. Soriano's going to duck. And I'm like, how is that narrative even out there? It's like, this guy doesn't miss anything. And the irony of it is how frequently Soriano has actually been avoided, right? And you could say, okay, Spencer was in red shirt when he didn't come, but everyone knew Spencer was wrestling. He did not go to Rutgers and wrestle him. Nathan Tomasello went to a wedding, okay, instead of wrestling him. He admitted this, right? He said, I'm going to go to this wedding. I'm not going to wrestle Nick Soriano. Okay, this year, Miocic was there at Vegas. He didn't wrestle. So, not that, and I'm not judging any of those instances. And then Lezak this week, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not, all those things isolated, it's fine that they didn't wrestle. But for to get it turned on Soriano because he snapped his ankle as a true freshman and snapped his ankle.
Clean break.
There's no, it's not like a suck it up situation. The ankle snapped, bones broken. There's no gutted out situation. He was in the hospital for 10 days. So, and this is these aren't secrets. Everyone knows he broke his ankle. Everyone knows he was in the hospital. We have a whole story about it. There were multiple newspaper stories about Soriano in the hospital. So, because he missed a Lezak duel last year in some of Big Tens, so that's more ignorance, right? But, again, I think, you know what the NFL is full of? It's full of people who think they know what's going on and don't have any issue opining about what they think is going on, and they're completely clueless, right? There's a large number of people like that, and we're so accustomed, I think, or at least I have been, on wrestling Twitter. Instagram's the worst. The people on there are basically those are mostly just kids that know very little, and Facebook is our dads yelling. And then Twitter was like the place for wrestling. It was like just a lot of really high-level conversation that you just kind of get used to it, right? Well, now, so basically when you get an opinion on Twitter, typically it's like coming from a place of some expertise, right? Like they know what's going on. Like you got the Jake Angiches out there. You've got all these people that know what's going on. But now I think the sport's growing, and so there's a lot of people that are throwing their hat in the ring. They don't really know what they're talking about. But overall, I think that's actually a really, really good thing, and it's just up to us to just kind of deal with it. So that was kind of a little bit of a rant, but I wanted to get it off my chest.
I also just think people are viciously scarred from the first month of the season and just assume no match of any import is going to happen.
And that's fair. And you know what? Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I guess that's my point. It's like, yeah, sure. Yes, there's some matches that we thought were going to happen that didn't happen because guys didn't. But I just feel like Soriano and Dayton should have, through their track records, have earned that level of these guys will put it on the line because that's just what they're, in my mind, known for.
It happened a month ago with Zahid and Mark. Everybody's like, no way this is going to happen. And we had to explain, guys, it is so out of character for these coaches or these wrestlers to sit out. And then, of course, the match happened. So, yeah, look, could Dayton and Nick not happen? Yes, but it would be extremely out of character and weird for that to happen.
Christian's disrobing, so I'll talk a little bit.
It's happening.
I'm sorry. It's happening.
Yeah, it's happening.
The match is happening.
So, on the first one, Christian, with the Teasdale thing, that was just, it was asinine, to be quite honest. Penn State entered a guy in a tournament.
Yeah.
They entered a guy in the tournament. I mean, nobody made that up, and for anybody to suggest otherwise, just you can make up news. You can't make up an entry. He was entered in the tournament, attached. So all the people that complain about that, that's just, I don't know, nonsense. And I think you're right about Soriano and Dayton, their character, and Soriano was vocal about Stevan not being at Cliff Keen. I mean, he's always, hey, you're in the building, I'm in the building, let's bang. Soriano's a tough dude. He doesn't back down from anybody, and Dayton Fix certainly doesn't. Like you said, he wrestles everywhere. But Nomad has a point. This is what happens when high-profile matchups don't happen so often.
Now, Willie, which ones have we not had? I mean, Miocic Soriano was definitely the one we were highlighting, and I guess Gross Fix.
Well, I shouldn't. Sometimes it's high-profile matchups, and sometimes it's just. I mean, Iowa has had guys out, right? That was it. The Iowa State. No, it wasn't Iowa State. But a lot of their starters sat for a while, right?
It was the Purdue duel. They were missing half their starters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and we've seen it in the past. Who was it? Was it Bo Jordan, Ohio State in years past have sat some guys. So fans are a little timid. Is this really going to happen? Yeah. But don't point fingers at Soriano and Dayton because that's not their character.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm crazy to think that more ignorant fans is actually a good signal. Maybe I'm the only one that thinks
it. Probably is. You're right. People shout from the rooftops. We should. I don't know why we're in a nickel defense. We should be playing. Oh. Shut up. You are.
I've watched football games with that guy, the offensive and defensive coordinators. I'm like, you're not even on this. I mean, right? I do it too. So exactly. Yeah. Case in point, me.
But you're so passionate. You're getting so passionate about it. Passionate enough to send a tweet that, you might not be in the know, you might not be thinking it through, but you're passionate, so that is a good sign in some respects.
Is it not an evolution for wrestling Twitter, though? I mean, wrestling, it's just like was nothing. For a couple of years, it was just like basically nothing but smart basically everyone on there really knew what they were talking about. So I think it's really shifted. It's fine, but it's for us to deal with. Okay. We have so much to talk about.
So often since we had the last show, I was like, can't wait to talk about this on FRL. Can't wait to talk. It's been a very busy couple weeks. And
by the way, we're working on a little solution because we can't have these kind of gaps in our FRL programming. We're gonna kind of be the change here. So we're gonna try to figure out a. Don't cry, Willie. We're gonna try to get Willie hooked up with a little home studio situation. That way, if we're like, hey, we need to do an FRL. We need to do it now. It'd be something he can kind of run out of his situation there. We hop on and maybe it'd be a little janky one, maybe not be in the studio, but we can get these takes off and not have like a week off between Midlands and now.
Hey, real quick before we get into Midlands and Scuffle. Guys, Rich Perry's at a training camp at USA Wrestling and is running, and it's incredible, and I think we should just acknowledge it before we jump in. And so, Rich, we love you. We're very proud of you, bud.
It's amazing. I mean, his prognosis was bleak. Like, it was life or death. It was life or death. And then it was, well, he'll live, but it'll never be. And the guy has just bucked every medical prognosis along the way and is literally running now.
He's running.
It was what? August or September?
Yeah, it wasn't terribly long ago.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. He looked big and strong. In some of the pictures, you could tell he had lost a lot of weight. He'd been inactive, hadn't been eating much. I thought he looked like, all right, he's got some size too. Like he'd put some weight back on. Look, he's a big dude. And he looked big again. So absolutely, thank you for bringing that up, Nomad, and awesome stuff to see. And keep going, Rich. He's not done yet. Glad he's out there. Okay, I think we start with Midlands because it was first and order. And also Spencer Lee. We have to talk about this. It was the talk of the Scuffle. You're at the Scuffle, everyone's talking about Spencer. That's what everyone was talking to us about. That's what everyone wanted to talk about. Because it was so, when have you seen a guy with the perception of Spencer, which is many people think he's a top 2 or 3 pound for pound guy. We didn't have him ranked as such, but if you think he's there, that we certainly wouldn't think you're crazy. To see him have the second and third period he did against Glory, and to have that spill over into another match without seemingly any sort of injury happening. And so I guess we start with the Glory thing, and really he's in such a big hole early. He's down 12-0. The match is basically and was over at that point, right? But he almost got pinned in that assassin, which was crazy. And then after he recovers from that, he really just went into survival mode underneath. Just was not even interested in seemingly getting away, which really surprised me.
He almost went into survival mode for the rest of the tournament at that point.
You could argue that. He certainly wasn't the hunter.
From the time he was up 12-0 on Glory, he got outscored 13-3.
Crazy.
It's when he was up 12-0, the next 5 periods, he scored 3 points, all of which were escapes.
Yeah, it's just it's unheard of with him. And what to make of it? Well, one, you give credit. you give credit to Glory. Now, here, I'll give you some, after Glory got teched, everyone was all excited. I was not as excited because I thought Patrick Glory was really awesome, and then he got teched. This was one I can get with this one.
Yeah.
He scored points.
We were watching, right, after the Glory match at Carver. We were all like, can we say it? Can we say Glory looked good in getting teched?
Yeah, but I say he looked good here. He looked really good on top, very aggressive. He's going to be, and he's got pitch this weekend. I have no idea what's going to happen in that match.
Fascinated by it.
I am fascinated as well. I mean, I give Glory, I think, to me, it's a coin flip match. That's really how I view it. I don't know if maybe people
if Glory comes back against Spencer, and Spencer has some fight, and Spencer gets his hand raised, okay. Glory's pretty tough. If Spencer gets beat by Sebastian Rivera, we're still surprised because Spencer, frankly, shouldn't lose, or nobody thought he would lose. But to do it in the fashion that he did, it was a change of character, right? It was like, it's hard to explain in that he didn't do much.
Right. Well, I think, one, in the first period, Rivera did not let him get his hands on him. He stayed away, darted in. It was a little Delgado-esque. Tony Ramos said it reminded him of how Brewer was. Like, he would wrestle from space and he'd be able to dart in. And, yeah, his coach. So, I think that, one. And then his dog on a bone mentality when he got to that single, that was a stalemate to me. I mean, I thought it would be a stalemate. After he didn't get the initial finish, Spencer's so good there with Wizards and stuff, it just didn't seem like it was going to happen. He's like, he just figured out a way to get that finish. And from that point on, and maybe not even from that point on, that makes it sound like something changed from before it happened after it happened. Because really it was just, and this was something that Coach Brands pointed out, that it was like, he didn't seem too bothered by the takedown, which is good, but it didn't change there was no urgency. There was no, pressure. There was no, got to go after him, force a lot of attacks. He got his hands locked only a couple of times. The closest he really got to a takedown was when he had that, front quarter and almost crunched him over.
Did you see? I mean, he must be stronger than, we say it often, how strong he must be, but when he had that quarter, most people don't get so close with that.
No, he's a freak. That's what they say. He's just totally a freak of nature.
Yeah, Sebastian stayed away. Didn't you think in watching it that at some point, okay, Spencer's going to close this distance. Spencer's just going to attack and get hands. And it never happened.
I thought he would take top, which he did, and I thought he'd be able to turn him, and he could not.
That was, for me, the thing that was like,
whoa.
Yeah. Because that was the whole thing, right? So we talked about this after CKLV, and we had this conversation kind of when he missed an ODU duel about how I thought Rivera was really focusing on Spencer, and he talked so much, both on camera and off camera, about I can't give up that first takedown. When not only did he not give it up, he then got it.
Yeah.
Because, and part of the reason he was aware of that is because he knows that what Spencer does to everyone is put them in 6-0, 10-0, 12-0 holds.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what happened to Pat Glory. So when he got out in the third, it was like he hit both points of his game plan, which is like the game plan against Spencer, which is don't give up the first takedown, and good Lord, if you can, get out from bottom.
Right.
So can we talk about the narrative, so to speak? And we had mentioned it in the office, something we noticed, but now I guess it's as pronounced as it is now. Other fans are talking about it too. It's like Spencer, if you don't get teched in the first or early second, I don't know if he gets rattled. I don't know if his pace slows. Is it his gas tank? Is it his confidence?
Yeah. So that's why I advocated for Rivera to stall in the first period.
Run like heck.
Dude, if you're down 2 or 3-0, hey, you got a shot against Spencer. If there's no digging yourself out of the 12-0 hole with him, right? Or 10-0 or even 6-0. He's been in that 6-0 hole before against Spencer, and he wasn't able to come back. He kind of handled those next 2 periods in the duel in Carver, and Rivera couldn't come back. So I'm like, give up a stall point. Give up 2 points. Just don't let him get on top. Do what you got to do. He kind of took a little alternative approach and just went after him, sort of. But I think, yeah. I mean, listen, there's nothing but nits to pick with Spencer. And if you're locating opportunity, your opportunity is in the second and third periods. We could pull up the Spencer's numbers for the scoring breakdown, first, second, and third period, and it goes like this. It starts high, and it goes down, okay? And for that reason, yeah, I mean, you can say what you want, but just looking at pure data, you don't have to look at there's your opportunity.
I got it right here.
Okay.
All right, so just this season, which I'm going to try to run last season as well. But anyway, just this season, scoring by period. First period, Spencer Lee, 122, opponents 3. Second period, Spencer Lee 6, opponents 3. Third period, Spencer Lee 1, opponents 4.
Okay. So
it's a huge difference.
It's a big drop off, and he's still outscoring them in 2 of the 3 periods, but it's definitely evidence of, something, right?
What do you think it is? Do you think it's stamina, confidence?
I don't think it's I think
it might. My personal opinion, and I don't know, I'm not a doctor, I'm just an armchair quarterback, but I think it's like anxiety. Like, I think he gets in late matches and matches late, and I don't know, I don't want to say he freezes, but he's certainly not himself.
Well, and you have to wonder, someone that he has been so frequently in matches that are over before they start. I mean, how many of his matches are over before they start? So many of them. It's like zero shot. You're not going to win, right? And so we're seeing in these really tough competitive matches, if you're not used to it, I'm sure it's a little tougher, right?
But there are times, though.
Sure, his cadet or junior world final at 50, he definitely had to cut it out.
There are times.
Yeah.
Right, cadet world or junior world finals.
NATO in the Ohio State
tight match with NATO. I mean, his final with Soriano, he didn't fade.
No.
NATO at NCAA's too. NATO was coming in the third period. He won that scramble and iced him.
And pinned him. Yeah. So,
but there are times where he clearly is not himself late.
Yes. I mean, you go back even, why bring this up? But I think it's, him losing to Dayton and Akron. He was so hot. I mean, we saw it even there. He was up 2 huge leads in a 4-minute match, mind you,
right.
Which says to me he's not gassing.
He's not gassing.
He's not gassing in 4 minutes. He's not gassing in 7 minutes. I'm sure he can wrestle forever, right? It's something else, and don't look to me to know, but it's something, and it's something we haven't seen with transcendent guys really before that I can recall. I can't recall seeing this, and so I don't know what it means for. Now, so the question becomes, all right, is 125 anyone's game, or is this just one time? Spencer lost to Ronnie Bresser, right? That happened. It's just one of those things that happens. It's a bad little run, and he's going to recover. Now, the interesting thing is, and hey, here's a stay, and maybe it's where I'm a little cynical. I mean, I shouldn't be, but are we going to get this Rivera-Lee match, right?
You're talking about in the duel.
Yeah.
See?
January 27th. And so maybe I'm hypocritical there. But
there you go. We're starting to wonder already.
But at least Rivera has made weight and not wrestled this year. And and a year ago, Spencer Lee lost in the semis and forfeited out. So at least there's like something, right? At least there's something that would suggest, yeah, maybe they wouldn't. But if it does happen, we're going to learn a lot about where Spencer is and how much validity there is to do it. And, Rivera had to be so up for that. I mean, he was so ready, so prepared. How do you not let that be a Super Bowl, too? Because you're gonna have him in the duel. You're going to have him at Big Tens, NCAAs, potentially.
Christian doesn't like making picks or prognostications this far out. I know this. But state of 125, are you changing your mind? Are you still taking Spencer in March? Who you got at 25?
Yeah, I got Spencer. And I'm not going to it's going to, we talk a lot about in rankings, like identity change, like different dude now. Like, it's just Zeke Moisey, yeah, you made the NCAA finals, but it's clear you're not that guy anymore. One loss to Sebastian Rivera is not going to change my perception of 125. To me, it's Spencer's weight to lose because you pick. Here's how you pick. You pick under the assumption that each guy is at their best.
the best version of themselves.
And I cannot reconcile picking anyone else. Basically, I am picking Spencer to be down and Rivera and the others to be up beyond him, which is, there's no evidence to suggest that you should think that's going to happen. So I do not think that's going to happen. I think Spencer's going to win 125.
Agreed.
Last thing about the duel. So if one or both of them do not wrestle in the duel, what is the advantage of Spencer not wrestling? What is the advantage of Rivera not wrestling in the duel for those guys and for those teams?
So if Spencer's not ready and maybe it's not have he just doesn't feel as prepared, don't throw him out there because, if another loss could really, could have some sort of an effect on him, right? Maybe. For Rivera, you've got the win over him. Now, I think it's so crazy to think seeding because one, what are we talking about? Big Ten seeds right now? Because who cares?
1, 2, yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter. And two, you're going to wrestle them at Big Tens anyways, so there's nothing really to protect. You get another opportunity, but maybe you say, I don't want to give. Maybe Sebastian could say, hey, maybe I don't want to give him another opportunity to feel me, even though they've wrestled 3 times. I don't think that really makes sense. Let's just hope the match happens. I really do. And shame on me for being cynical.
Okay, what else about Midlands? Iowa wins it going away. UNI had a great tournament.
Yeah, I want to talk about Wick Marinelli. That was a really interesting match. I thought Marinelli wrestled the way you got to wrestle. You got to finish quick on him, and he was on him. I wasn't really with the stall calls, as many of them as there were against Marinelli. I thought he was mostly active for the most part. I get a point, but I thought it was a little. I wasn't as upset as Tom Brands was, but I thought it was a lot. It's
crazy how perceptions change even during the course of a single event, right? Like, Marinelli had a tough match with Viruet. Overtime, I think it was overtime. I mean, those guys were banging.
That was wild.
And you're like, before the tournament started, you're like, Wick Marinelli, can't wait to see that matchup. It was 16-3 last time. No way it's going to be that big a blowout. But then Viruet goes with Marinelli, and you're like, all right, the bull's not on today. He ain't beating Wick, right? And then he beats Wick.
But also in the semis, he smashed Shields.
Yeah,
which is telling. So yeah, Viruet is just tricky, and Marinelli's not great on the mat. Okay, he's not great underneath. Viruet just challenged him in a lot of positions. Marinelli couldn't hold him down. He's scrambly, tough dude. This guy beat Chandler Rogers. John Viruet's tough. So I think that was just a matchup thing, maybe, and maybe he overlooked him. I don't know. Who really knows? But yeah, Marinelli gets it done, 4-3, solid win, and maybe it takes a little steam off the Wick Chinzo match. Although for me, I'm still fascinated because matchups matter, right? But man, you watch, and I don't mean to transition to the Scuffle, but you watch Chinzo, and guys try to roll with him and funk him, and he just seems to have that. At least you can't dive roll on him anymore. I mean, I don't think so. We've seen him. He countered Shields for 6 when he went dive roll. He countered Marsteller for the icing takedown. So yeah, I think, man, Wick Chinzo can be a great match, but Wick may have to get it done on top, and I'm not sure if Chinzo can get ridden.
All right, real quick, DeSanto over Gonzer, Albert Murin, Kolodzic beat Thompson, and
49 was amazing.
49 was weird, right? With Pantelio down there for one time, and then it's like, Pantelio could be the number 1 guy by the end of the weekend, but not so.
Is 49 going to be great again next year?
Why do you say that?
There's a lot of good young kids.
Oh, because Teamer, Lee, and Sasso. I mean, Sasso is just so. I love that kid. He is so freaking fun, and he's clear.
Teamer bang with Kolodzic.
I know. I seen it. He kind of
from the vibe I got, both from the coaches and Jacori himself, was that next year hit 57.
Not 74.
Not 74.
All right. Well, we'll hold on. So
Deacon over Young, Valencia over Lujan, Foster over Wilkie, Brucky over Sloan. Tanner Sloan was the talk of the town.
Yeah, Tanner Sloan Tex Jacob Warner stunned me to no end. I had maybe read Tanner Sloan's name. I think I remember him. He wrestled in one of the All-Star things or something.
Dream Team, I think.
Dream Team. But I won't say I saw this coming at all, that I knew he was that good from the top. He was down to his recruiting came down to SDSU and like a D2 or D3 team. Was it Grandview?
I mean, he's an Iowa kid. That would seem.
Well, I don't know, but
Bono was telling me because he's not far outside of Iowa City, and so, you know, the obvious thing, why didn't you and I get him? Why didn't I would get him? Bono was telling me like he's like a farm kid, and when they showed him like the ag school at SDSU, it was like we showed him like goats or something, and he was like, "This is awesome. I'm going here."
You got to know that's that sales, that salesmanship. So yeah, Bono could use him right now at Wisconsin.
Are they gonna?
Bresky.
Are they gonna pull Sloan, or is he gonna redshirt?
No clue.
I say wrestle him.
I say wrestle him.
Let's get Damien on.
As like, I don't know. 97's kind of weak.
Here's my
Might
thing.
be able to get on the podium.
Oh, for sure he could get on the podium. No offense to anyone ranked number 4, but Rocco Kaywood is ranked number 4 at 197, and Rocco Kaywood is fine, but he is just not the typical number 4 ranked wrestler in the United States of America. That's all I'm gonna say. Yes.
What did you take away from?
And yet, sorry. Last thing, Warner is still like 6th despite losing
5th.
5th. Despite having, and like, there's no real way to justify him being much lower because he's ahead of Miklas.
I was gonna say, are you complaining about your own ranking?
I know, I am complaining about it because they made me do it.
I don't know if you can hit it right. You can't really penalize him for Sloan. Sloan's not in the field.
And then he lost to Kaywood, who's ahead of him, who wasn't ahead of him, but now he is because, my goodness, what can you do? So yeah, 197 for sure. But here's my tea leaf situation. I don't know if Gross is coming back. In fact, right now, I would predict that Gross does not come back this year. So, and I think he would meet the criteria for a medical. So if you're South Dakota State, maybe you say, hey, we hold on to it, knowing that, and then next year, roll out Sloan and Gross.
I second the notion that he will not return this year.
Yeah. So we'll see. It definitely, it takes it takes a lot of juice off of 133. We still have fixed Soriano. You still have. It's still so nasty.
You lose the returning national champ. It's a hit, but
who has him on their fantasy team?
If there's one weight that could use it, that could suffer that blow.
Yeah.
It's 133.
Imagine
right?
if Nickel was out of.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Or if Nolf wasn't at 57. That way, the number 2 guy lost to Griffin Perriott this year.
That would be the man to our left.
Dang it.
Ooh, Bracky has Gross.
Bradkey has Gross.
Hey, I've got quite a few 33s.
We're all walking wounded.
Not me.
Spay has Brock Zacharel.
My team is filthy.
Your team's all right.
My bench is absurd. I'm gonna run you out the gym. Okay. Well, it's gonna be.
Put 9 in the finals.
It's gonna be like the Scuffle, where it's gonna be just my team versus my team. Ernest D. RBY NCAA final. I'm calling it.
All right.
Are you ready?
Tariq just got hurt.
Yeah, he did. It was an ankle, which I don't know if that's good or bad. I always think it's better than the knee, right?
What did he hurt at Akron?
No idea.
Or am I making that up? Wasn't he hurt at Akron?
He was concussed, remember?
He was concussed. That's what it was.
He was dropped on a stone piece
Yes.
very hard.
His foot is the furthest thing from his head.
That's
so
right.
we know it's not that.
It was not a foot injury.
How about him being up? He was up 2-1. He was looking good. It did not look like he was going to go Luke's way. That was interesting. We should probably Did you watch that match?
I watched most of it. I mean, Luke had that standing single, and I was like, all right, Luke looks sharp, and Tariq managed to get out of it.
Yeah. So that was interesting. Hopefully Tariq's back because he certainly makes that weight very, very fun. He's an X Factor, wild card, dark horse, whatever cliche thing you want to say.
All right. Anything else from Midlands? Thoughts on Warner? I mean, on one hand, you know, he comes in and maybe he's a finals contender, right, as a freshman. On the other hand, listen, he's a freshman. He took 5th. That's pretty darn good. I don't know.
Well, it's just, you know, expectations for the number one guy coming out of high school are high, right? And especially when you lose to a guy that was not really recruited, who's a true freshman at a non-traditional program, who is from the state you represent, you know, in Iowa. That was it's just a little jarring. I mean, 5th is good.
What was his other loss was Kaywood?
I mean, he didn't wrestle well. He did not wrestle to his potential, and that's, you know, that happens to many people at tournaments, and you know, he'll be back.
The back half of the lineup was very tentative. Like Wilkie did his job, right? But I don't know if he scored a first period takedown in like 4 of his matches.
Yeah, no, Wilkie's Wilkie. He remains Cash Wilkie. He's not. He's
Bitcoin.
Excuse me, Bitcoin. So, all due respect to the Bitcoin.
All right. Want to do Scuffle?
Let's Scuffle.
Scuffleonians.
So, Scuffleonians, just to briefly bring it back to Gavin, I wonder, they were going to pull his red shirt, right? They're going to wrestle him. They're like, hey, we're going. And I actually think it's a good decision if they do it, because, you know, I guess it's not, we can talk around it or whatever, but I think plugging in Gavin into that structure of the lineup and making weight and being with the team would be really good for him. And that's why I think it's good if they wrestle him right away. Not only does he make their team better, because he's certainly better than, you know, Schnupp or whatever, but I think for Gavin, it's a good thing for him to get plugged back in, provided he's ready to go. Now, him not wrestling January 1st, what happened? My thought is, and it was always known, 25 is going to be a stretch for Gavin. It's going to be tough. So my guess, only a guess, is that he wasn't going to make the weight. I don't know that. But y'all saw him the day before and said he looked pretty sucked down.
Yeah, we were walking into the arena as they were leaving the day before. I saw Gavin, and we didn't know he was going to be there or anything. And, he looked sucked.
Yeah. So maybe that was it. Now, so my question is, will we see him this weekend? They have 2 duels this weekend.
Right. And even going back to when you know, as recruits come in, right, and we kind of start looking at where guys will be in the lineup going forward, we always kind of knew that they were going to have to do some juggling redshirt-wise to get Teskey, Teasdale, and RBY in, and it usually ended up with 125 goes, the other 125 goes, then RBY bumps, and Gavin goes 33. Because I watched Teskey, I watched every one of Teskey's matches, and to me, it seems like he's going to be the 25, and that Teasdale's going to, like, Teasdale just looked bigger. Bigger, was bigger, is bigger, will be bigger.
Yeah, everyone knew that for all along, that Teskey was a small 25, and that Teasdale was a big one. But that requires one of them wrestling now, and it would make the most sense if it was Gavin, because if he's going to make 25 effectively ever, it'll be this year. He's only going to get bigger, right? So I don't know if we'll see him this week or not. Doubt we'll find out until it happens.
Can't imagine he's going to wrestle against Rivera, right?
Oh, my gosh.
That would be his first match.
Maybe Connor Brown. That'd be a pretty spicy one.
I'll be there for Wisconsin, so
okay.
If I find out any information before 2 or whatever the match starts, I'll be sure to let the world know.
I'm certain you won't, but
I mean, like weigh-ins, like if he weighs in.
There you go.
Like that is information.
I bet if he starts wrestling Connor Brown, we'll know that his red shirt's been pulled. Okay, so that's 25. The not wrestling part. The wrestling part was Nick Piccinini was better than everyone. Beats Rico Montoya. Not a lot to say. He dominates throughout. He's got glory this weekend, and maybe we get into some predictions because this week is fire. There are so many. That's the big challenge with this show. It's like we got to look back, but we have got some heat coming this week.
Can I just say it angers me, and this isn't really anyone's fault, but it angers me that Nick's schedule this year isn't as challenging as it could be for him, at least. Like, obviously, Oklahoma State wrestles a tough schedule, but like for him, he doesn't have more than, I don't know, 2 or 3 big matchups. And I wish we did, because Pitch is, he's a guy who got 4th, right? He's good on top. He's good on his feet. Like, this is a guy who could be in the finals.
We're into January. And it's funny you mention it about Pitch, is because his bonus rate is sky high, but he hasn't hit top guys. And I was doing the grades for, Penn State, Iowa, and I'm digging up stats. I'm looking at bonus rate and stuff. But we're into January, and a lot of guys have not hit. You talk about the guys that Penn State's bonus rate, but like a Nick Lee. Yeah. Nick Lee bonus rate sky high. Looks great. Can't really do anything with it, though, but say eyeball test, because he hasn't hit a top guy.
Same with Rashid.
Yeah.
Exact same thing with Rashid. Yeah. And he hits Bolin, we'll get to 84, but that was a little surprising to me. But yeah, the thing in Big 12 at 125 is not amazing. Fleetwood and Montoya are the 2-3 there, then Werner. So those are good guys, but there's not guys you would necessarily put as pitching in these peers by their results. So he'll hit Glory, he'll hit Spencer in the duel.
Yeah.
So that would be one.
And he had Rayvon in Reno Finals, who Rayvon's looking like a rock solid top 10 guy this year, but again, still maybe a step below Nick.
Yeah, it's not a Bresser, it's not a Rivera, it's not a Mueller. So that's 25. Not much else to say there. 33 was the one we were fired up for coming in, and man, it really delivered. And it was an interesting day one of 133 because you had RBY looking just not like the RBY we had seen, right? He was not particularly offensive. His pace was a lot slower. He was just winning, right? Just doing enough to win, which is not.
The one went to overtime.
It went to overtime, and this wasn't like, okay, RBY had an easy schedule, and now things are ramping up, and it's up. These were not guys. These guys weren't as good as Paetzel. These guys aren't as good as Tim Rooney, right? These are okay guys, but guys that RBY probably will eventually handle. But
his activity level, he wasn't as busy, just eyeballing it. And what I thought, and this total speculation, but you see his previous matches, and he's very busy, and he's scoring a ton of points. And then you watch the opening round to the Scuffle, and he's winning 4-1 or 8-6 in overtime. And that was day one, and so my first thing was, this is his first 2-day weigh-in.
Yeah, but would you not see that? But would the adverse effects not be more apparent? I say I do think it is weight related, but I don't think it's the 2-day weigh-in. I think it's just the time off from not making weight, and maybe he got a little big and had a bad day one cut. Because day two, even in the Gomez loss, he was more offensive against Austin Gomez than he was against the Air Force kid, right?
That's
he looked fantastic against Gomez. And then Gomez does what he does. And the thing I didn't get to mention about Austin, he's down 9-2 to Ty Smith and has an amazing blast of a comeback. 7 takedowns. He cuts him. He's tied and he cuts him with 30 seconds to go after riding him for 10, 12 seconds. And I'm like, what are you doing? But it doesn't matter because it's Austin Gomez and he does what he pleases. And he gets the takedown as time is expiring for the win. And you're like, oh my gosh, this kid is so fun. And then I went into that semi thinking, all right, I think probably RBY. And then after watching them in day one, I was like, I have no idea what's going to happen. Because what if Gomez digs himself in a hole, which he actually did, then what's going to happen? I don't think he can recover that against RBY. What if RBY looks that inactive? Gomez will break him. But instead, we get kind of like a melding of the two where RBY looks amazing, but then Gomez just comes after him, jacks up double unders, and the bomb of the match, or of the tournament, and pins him.
One more thing, guys. RBY did not get caught, okay? Austin Gomez does that, all right? Was it? Could RBY have won the match? Absolutely, sure. But he didn't get caught. Austin Gomez does that.
He's been doing this for years now. He digs himself in holes, and he could care less. He stays calm, and then he just fights his way out of it.
And I think you walk away from that, though, that match, RBY scoring points, I think you believe in both of them, right? I don't think you sell stock in
Correct.
either of them.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I left that match, and it was almost like Snyder said July. We were like, the pin kind of ruined what I would have loved to see that materialize. But that's the thing about wrestling: if you pin someone, they don't let you keep going. And Nomad, to your point, that's the ignorance I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's another example. You don't know about Austin Gomez. If you think this is just something that happened, you don't know anything about Austin Gomez. You haven't watched this guy wrestle. You didn't watch him lateral drop Austin DeSanto. You didn't watch him at Fargo when he was bombing everyone. This is what he's done his entire career, right?
Yeah.
And whether it's storming back through leg attacks or it's upper body stuff, Gomez has always had that in his arsenal. He's very diverse skill set, and he did not catch Roman Bravo Young.
One more thing on RBY. Again, I don't know. I'm with you guys. I'm reading tea leaves. I think it had to have been something along the lines of a bad weight cut or just not feeling right. Because you look at day 1 or day 2 versus day 1, he had twice as many takedowns on day 2 versus day 1. Now obviously he lost to Gomez, but twice as many takedowns. Was able to get riding time in one of those matches. And honestly, it would have been even worse. But he kind of had to get some takedowns against Girardi. So. I don't know. I just think it was better day 2. I think it was almost good for him because I was talking to him afterwards, and RBY is smart, right? Like he's like, hey, just use my Instagram because he said like started 2019 on my back, have nowhere to go but up. So like he has the right mindset about these things. So I think RBY is going to be fine. But yeah, he was just not himself.
Loss don't bother me at all. I was impressed with his day 2.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, he was more offensive against better wrestlers. He wrestled Pin, Gilly, and Nickel, who were both solid guys, and he looked good against Gomez till he got pinned. So that was probably the match of the tournament, if I have to say so. It was electric. Gomez wins, and then ultimately faces Dayton Fix, who is looking outstanding. And I think Fix Soriano is the NCAA finals, personally. So I think we'll get a nice little preview Sunday. And yeah, Gomez does not match up well with Dayton. And I don't know that he ever really will. I don't know if that's a solvable problem. We'll see at Big 12s. He's gonna have to force him to upper body, but Dayton's really good upper body. When you go under, he's gonna throw the overhook and inside trip you.
I did notice when I was going back and watching that match because I was doing interviews, so I don't necessarily get to watch these matches live. Is Dayton normally hand fights really? He tries to like dominate you in the hand fight, but he was kind of not tentative, but like he was the way he said in the interview afterwards was he was more aware of the stuff that Austin can do upper body. So I thought that he adjusted his hand fight well, which I mean he always does it against Austin, but he adjusted his hand fight well to match what Austin was giving him.
Right. Some guys you can come at him like a wildcat, like Dayton typically does. So that's showing some maturity on his head, like kind of picking his spots. He still can kind of like be forward and take ground without having to be the wildcat. So that was good. We were
41.
We were deprived Brock Woods, which I think would have been a really tough match for Cade. Cade forfeits out with a ankle injury. And then Nick Lee takes care of business in a pretty close match against Real Woods, who I said they should pull his red shirt, and Shane Griffiths because they're clearly ready to go. But I don't know whether that's going to happen or not. But yeah, Nick Lee looks good. I don't know. I think Woods is a low AA contender this year, perhaps, but not much else. So it's not necessarily indicative that Lee is just like at a super high level right now. But I think he's definitely good. And I think you just say, okay, move on. He looked good. 49. Yeah, right, Willie? I mean, I don't know.
Yep.
There's not a lot to talk
Yeah,
about.
not a lot to take away from it. I mean, the thing to take away from it, bracket-wise, is like uncertainty with Cade.
Yeah.
Is there uncertainty? I mean, I
don't know. I don't know. What I do know is that he hasn't looked particularly great this year. He hasn't looked like up to par for the Cade Brock that we know. And then he goes to Scuffle, and why are you guys laughing?
Because I wanted to see. I pulled up the Facebook stream, and I didn't have my speakers off, and it started playing. So I was hearing I wanted to rehear what you said because you're speaking so eloquently, Willie.
So Cade's not the best version of himself. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. And then he goes to the Scuffle, and he forfeits out. Meanwhile, I don't know. You have Boo Leewallen on the shelf that might be ready to come back, and you have Cade Gafella that's a 41 doing monster stuff at 49.
He looks like a 49 to me. 1, 2. I think Boo's done for the year, and he'll get a medical.
Yeah.
That's
perhaps.
my.
I'm just saying it's interesting, and Caden. By the way, Caden's on pace for 5 Scuffle titles.
Yeah, him
So
and
was
Mark
Mark
Hall.
Hall. Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah. He got 3.
But man, talk about a monster week. How about this week for Caden? He'll have the 1 and 2 guys this week.
Right. Yeah, so we'll get a nice little measuring stick for him there.
He's up to number 5 now.
He's number 5, which is higher than Boo, I think, has ever been ranked.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's first? Caden wrestles who first? Kolodzic or Ashno?
Kolodzic, then Ashno.
Hey, he could leave the number 1 guy. He could leave Jersey number 1 in the land.
Man,
Don't think that's
taking
I don't.
taking Jersey pelts.
What if he did? What if he just goes in and just destroys 2 Jersey legends?
That kid
What if
is
it's
from
like
Ohio.
what if he beats both and he's number 1 and we say Caden Gafella number 1 in the United States and he's like and also Jersey.
No, then Boo just comes and takes the spot.
Yeah, not
It's kind
in
of like,
Texas.
Nick Foles led him to the Super Bowl, but hey, Carson Wentz is our guy.
Carson Wentz is our guy, no matter what. No matter how many Super Bowls Nick Foles wins for us. So Caden, the Fine Silver G match was crazy. We had some challenges. We had the 4-point near fall. What else happened in that match?
Hands to the face, not being called, and then G getting mad about it, and pretty much hitting Fine Silver right back in the face, and then getting called for it.
Right in this area here. So Fine Silver got him about like this.
Really good.
And then
G looked at the ref and was like, "Really?" And then just immediately, boom.
right in the face, just gives up a point. It's like, what are you doing, dude? And also, by the way, that was a 57 versus a 41. Sitting there at Matt's side, I didn't stand next to them, a la Wrestling Nomad, but I watched them, and it looked absurd how much bigger Fine Silver was than G.
Very rarely, when I look at like really tall, pick a weight, do their legs also look huge? Fine Silver's thighs are enormous.
Yeah, and
for a 49.
And I could not believe that G got away after trying the roll 4 or 5 times. And even Mike was like, he needs to stop rolling. He got to go something else other than the roll. And he rolls and gets out just in time. And when riding time was at 58, all these little crazy things happened. But
can you explain the blood situation? Because the Duke crowd didn't seem happy about that.
Well, okay, Duke fans, recent rule. If you're bleeding, they stop the wrestling.
Well,
it's just a 2019 recent. It's a point of emphasis, actually. It's not actually a rule change. It's just a point of emphasis. If you bleed, they stop the wrestling.
What they were saying, though, is that G was biting his lip and spitting on the mat.
I've done that.
Show me in the rule book. Well, first of all, I did not see that happened. Secondly, where does it say you can't bite yourself and spit the blood on the mat? Is this a rub in his
can't
racist
bite
situation?
other people.
Yeah, he did not bite Mitch Fine Silver. Did that really happen? I really don't believe that happened.
Coach
Were they
Lamb
were
said it on
really
Twitter.
saying that?
Oh, did he really?
Yes.
Oh my word! Well, maybe it happened. Did you know about that story going into the? Did you like watching the match? You'd be like, I think he just.
I don't get to watch the matches
yeah.
when you have me do interviews.
Oh, I'm sorry. Why don't you yell at me about it? I'm sorry. Jeez.
So now I'm trying to watch it and be like,
Berkey.
did this actually happen?
Berkey was the other story, right?
Yeah, and daggone if you want to talk about bad calls, that takedown they gave Berkey was not a takedown. Did you watch that match, Willie?
Against who?
Fine Silver.
No, I did not watch that match. Well, Fine Silver won, right?
Yes, he did, but there was a terrible takedown call in there that they challenged him. Like, okay, so there's this weird thing, and maybe, you know what? I don't know if you guys know this. I'm not an NCAA official. Never have been. But yet. Thank you, because maybe one day I would never get hired. So there's this weird thing where if people see a hand on the mat, they just think, okay, well, hand touch too. Should there not be just be somewhat behind him? He wasn't behind the arms. He was in front of the arm. Mm-hmm. The hand touch for less than 1/2 of 1 second. And by the time Bergie was behind him, he's standing straight up and peels hands, and then Bergie drops down the leg. To me, that's not a takedown. And they even challenged it and upheld the call.
That's the biggest problem with the no reaction time takedowns is they don't look for control.
Yeah.
They're just looking to see if his hand touched. Did he go to?
Well, does the word? No, hold on. Does the word control even exist in this current rule set? Clearly, there's no control
Who
necessary.
knows? I don't know.
Anyway, the good angle is on the Jacob Casper mic'd up for Mitch Fine Silver semifinal. You can very clearly see it was not a takedown.
Yeah. Why didn't you give them that footage? You
Give
should
who
have
that
helped the
fo-
official.
Oh, yeah.
Could have helped them out. Maybe they just didn't have the right angle because you took up the good angle where you were sitting. Apologies from Nomad to Mitch Fine Silver.
One
but you
one
won
time
anyways.
at CKLV, the refs almost snapped at me, and I was just trying to explain to them that whoever was running the clock gave an escape well before the official did, and they were about to screw a kid out of a match.
Wow, that's messed up, dude. So, yeah, Bergie, Willie, you're saying is kind of the other topic of conversation. I think
I want that official's number. I want that. What number was that official? He better not snap at Nomad.
Yeah, chill out, dude.
Chill out, dude.
Yeah.
Number 47.
Number 47. Boom. Hit him.
Oh.
That was awesome.
I even try to shake their hands, and they still snap at me.
Well, no, you suck up to the international ones. You don't.
Yeah.
You don't kiss
Where's
up
the
to
folk style love?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I don't show the folk style ones. They're a little rougher, a little more coarse.
Yeah. Well.
57, Nolf. Next topic.
Oh my gosh. Sort of. I do want to
I
mention.
think this is a Bo Piper show.
Someone actually thought Bo Piper was going to win that match that I talked to at the Scuffle. It really bothered me.
No. That you talked to at the Scuffle?
I swear. I will not
A
name
human
names.
being?
A human being. I'm not going to use a name.
What, like somebody like that I know?
It was Jamie
Yes.
Pfeiffer.
It was not.
So-
it was no one
somebody that I
affiliated
know.
with Penn State
Or the Piper family.
or the Pifers. No one. Okay. Anyways, yeah. Nolf just smashes everyone. Really weak field. Zach Carson, Bo Piper was the semi. We'll get to maybe.
That match was fire.
That match was fire. that was maybe the best semi I called. Okay, so that's it. 65 now.
Was that the match, Christian, that you were like, what? I watched one of your matches where you were like, you were announcing, but you were also doing the riding time clock, and you were like trying to tell people like what was happening on the mat, and the table worker was like, I'm sorry, I hit the button late, and you're like, you're fine. You're fine.
Oh, no, that was Matt Voss, Billy Miller.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, you were
That-
not fine in that situation.
That match was a disaster. I know, but I'm just trying to encourage her because she was having a hard time. And of course, when the coaches are yelling at you, you're not going to have an optimized performance on top of that. So
You're like telling the refs, you're talking to the table worker,
Well-
you're like, should be 8 seconds, riding time. 8 seconds.
well, they were these refs. Here's one thing: they cannot wait to start the match when there's pure chaos at the table. Things are not ready.
Yeah,
things
they're like, "Let's go."
Tommy, I'm like, don't start. I'm like waving. I'm like, she is not ready. The time is not right, and they're like ready to go. I'm like, you need to look and make sure all the things are before you start it. So yeah, there's a little bit of that. I have to go back and rewatch it to give you the true. Because I was exhausted after that. It was the last match, of course. It was the
match of the
Doug
night, you
Villaro
said.
special. Last two on the mat. Everyone else was gone.
You said point of emphasis this year is that the last match of the night has to go to OT.
That blood time and the recent NCAA rule the last heavyweight match of the night has to go into tiebreakers, and so Miller and Voss were powerless to win that match in regulation. No, so that's when I was being an assistant. But at 65, we had Chenzo versus Marsteller. Now, Marsteller had a really tough one against Chandler Rogers, his former teammate. Great match there. And then Chenzo comes out, opening takedown against Marsteller, and you think, okay, this is going to be tough. Chenzo's a tough guy to come back against, right? It's because he's so hard to score on. But then Marsteller throws that underhook buyer to the single, finishes, and we got ourselves a match, and we're tied in the third period. But Chenzo's, his single leg is so, basically automatic at this point that, he's such a good finisher. And I don't know what to make of of Chin's, it didn't really change things in my mind that he's kind of a big favorite, even though he does have close matches from time to time. Still feel like he's just going to be the guy when it's said and done.
Agreed. I mean,
he had a tough one with Shane Griffith.
You could be like,
really good, yeah.
We see the Nolfs and the Rutherfords and I don't know who else. But you can be sort of dominant without being dominant. Like, you can win all your matches by 3 points.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say dominant. I don't think he's dominant particularly.
Not dominant, but
it just always feels like he's in control of the situation.
Yes.
That's how I feel. I feel like it's almost like you're just kind of watching. You're like, Shinzo's got this. I'm not sure exactly why, but it's just like there's just you just feel comfortable saying I think he's gonna win. Even when Marcelo got the takedown, I was like, could he really do it again? He's gonna have to take him down again. I just don't think he's gonna.
I think that's the most encouraging thing is Chance could take him down.
Yeah.
For Chance or for the excitement of the weight class. It's another guy that can take Chenzo down. But I thought Griffith was the story. Griffith wrestled really tough.
Yeah. I think they should pull his red shirt. He's ready to go. Yep. What are you waiting for? He's healthy. He's wrestling well. That's why, I mean, I don't want to get into the red shirt discussion again, but, if they're ready, let's go. And look
74,
at 74, the story's Joe Smith.
Yeah.
Joe Smith is the story there, and all credit to Mark Hall for winning the tournament. But we knew, I thought Mark Hall was going to win the tournament, and he did. But I did not think that I would watch Joe Smith kind of handle David McFadden.
He almost majored him.
5 takedowns.
Unbelievable.
5 takedowns. That doesn't. McFadden's in basically every match.
And here's the thing: McFadden is a tough freaking battler. The kid's a warrior.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. Sometimes Oklahoma State gets the rap that they're slicksters and they don't really come at you hard. I mean, Joe Smith broke him.
His hands are so heavy. His hips are so strong. His reattacks are great. He's got good short offense. He is a powerhouse at 174. I don't care what he looks like. Okay? No, he's not. It's not the tightest. It's not the tightest body at 174. Clearly doesn't matter because 1, he wrestles really, really hard for 7 minutes, no factor. Yep. 2,
let's come up with that. So you're saying he's like on the team Ryan Anderson?
Yeah.
Let's come up with a team Ryan Anderson.
He's on it.
Those guys are freaky strong.
They're awesome.
They got a little bit extra pudding, and it doesn't matter. They don't get tired. Well, at least Joe Smith doesn't get tired. Ryan Anderson might get tired for all I know, unless he gets chugs a dew during blood time.
There is something though about like Joe not having to cut weight. Like, seems like a good thing. Seems like we should keep him there.
Part of me
we want the best version of if wrestling wants the best version of Joe Smith, keep him from cutting weight.
I agree, and at the same time, I'm like, that guy could win 65. I just don't think he can win 74. I just don't think Zahid's not a great matchup. He clearly can beat Mark Hall. I think he can. But the thing about 1 takedown matches, I think in our minds we can think they're a little closer than they really are. Because he was never really close to a takedown, right? And I don't think he's gonna have an opportunity to beat him on his feet. Now he got in a couple times, but he was never really close to a finish.
Real quick, guys, and I was talking to Willie about this. If you haven't watched the interview I did with Mark Hall, basically was like, I learned how to sprawl this summer. That's a way oversimplification, but like, Mark Hall did not used to sprawl. He did not used to feed hips. He was all more like far ankle scramble, like drape over the top, like and just kind of make things goofy in a flurry. And now it's like more conventional stuff. And he said,
he literally said that.
Yeah,
he said that he worked on sprawling.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 22 years old. It's a world champ and national champ. Like, I got to learn how to sprawl.
Next year, they're going to work on him not crossing his feet in his stance.
Yeah.
Mark Hall would never do that.
Like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Someone on Facebook
you
said
like Joe
that
at
Ben
65?
Askren is the head coach of the Ryan Anderson team.
Oh, yeah, Ben. Yeah, Ben had a little... Ben now, especially. Ben Askren now...
Yeah, not so much as 7.
When he's fighting MMA, he had a little muffin top every time he fought. It didn't matter. He brutalized the guy. And another guy that doesn't get tired at all. I think we're on to something.
Doesn't get tired at all.
We need to test Willie's endurance right now. I think
can
you could be
go.
peaking.
7 minutes. Nope.
No.
I'm peaking.
So that's Joe Smith. It's so awesome to have Joe Smith back.
What if Joe goes down? You like Joe at 65? You're saying?
Well, I like him at 74, obviously. If him cutting that extra weight would be to his detriment, certainly don't. But if he could do it, it's kind of like, man, I think he matches up better with Chenzo than he does with Zahid, Mark, and Miles Amin.
Also, a lot of
He
egg on
looks like
Spaceface.
if he missed. He looks like if he misses, if he just skips Sunday spaghetti, he
I don't
should
know.
make it.
But what if that spaghetti's the missing ingredient?
Yeah, let's
That's
not mess
true.
with a good
You know
thing
what?
right now.
Let's just be happy. Look at me. Shame on me for getting ahead of myself. I should just be happy Joe Smith's back and
Nomad's right though. Spay, he didn't want to see this.
he wants Joe Smith to ride off in the sunset.
Yep.
Call it a career. 2-time AA. Egg all over his face. So many eggs.
Disgusting.
An entire omelet. Disgusting, sir. Then 184, Shakur Rashid. No Zach Savasky. He did not wrestle. He was supposed to and didn't. That would have been Rashid's kind of opportunity to kind of climb the rankings a little bit more. And he gets Hunter Bolin, who is apparently really, really good. Because he beat
But Hunter
Luda,
Bolin.
he beat Luda Prey, who
And Jacoby.
and Jacoby Smith.
Jared Hott has been telling me since the beginning of the season that Hunter Bolin was going to be that dude, and he was that dude this weekend.
He
Or
must be
Scuffle.
stupid strong.
We've been waiting. I've been waiting for him for a long time. Like when he was a freshman, sophomore in high school, I'm like, I think this kid got something. And then it never really came. And then there might have been a glimpse, and it never really came. I was like, where did this come from this weekend?
Well, he got so much bigger.
Yeah,
He was like a 60 coming out or
he
something.
filled out.
He didn't even
Big time.
filled out. He's just, he's like, we're talking 30, 40 pounds. This is just a big hombre. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it other than I think he'd place this year. And I think he still needs a leg attack, but man, he is good everywhere else. He wrestled a
What's
really
his
smart match against
eligibility?
Bolin. Huh?
What's his eligibility?
He's a sophomore.
Well, he'll be a redshirt sophomore next year.
Yeah. So he's got three to go, which you just love to see it. So it works out well with Zavasky, who's a senior, and he can come right in at 84. If he can, it wouldn't surprise me if he eventually was a 97. I kind of wouldn't be mad at it either, because why would you not go 97?
Everybody wants to go 97 these days.
Everyone should be bulking up to 97. If you're having struggles, just think about it. Work for Machiavello. He DMP'd and then he won. Okay, so that's 84. Rashid didn't really get it going, and a lot of people like Hunter Bolin kind of slowed him down a little bit. I didn't see a high attack rate from Shakur Rashid in that match. Did you? Did you guys see a guy that's 7 minutes looking to score?
You talking Rashid? No.
Yeah, we all on the same page.
And he said as much after he was like really frustrated with himself. He's like he is very cognizant. Like, I will not be able to beat. He didn't say Miles Martin, but like that's the kind of guy that's in his head. Like, I'm not gonna be able to beat Miles Martin if that's my attack rate for 7 minutes. Like, that's just it ain't happening.
I feel like Shakur is a very reflective guy in that way. Was it you that told me about it at Big Ten's?
Oh,
Remember-
Spay, he was over there.
So if you remember at Big Ten's, Shakur had two. It looked like a good draw. Like he should be able to get 2 pins before the quarters or semis, whatever. And he had kind of like, he maybe had like kind of a rough major and then a decision or something like that. And he's walking off and he's kind of frustrated with himself, talking with Coach Cunningham. He's like, I'm here to score bonus points. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. And Cunningham's like, you're fine. You're doing good. He's like, don't worry about it. Blah, blah, blah. Like being real encouraging. So to me, Coach Cunningham coming at him like that, encouraging, says this is a guy that's maybe a little hard on himself, puts a little pressure on himself to be that bonus point guy. And just sometimes you just got to win 4-1 against a really tough dude.
That's what I was thinking. You want guys to go out there and score points, and you want guys to hold themselves accountable to score points instead of squeaking it out. But sometimes winning 4-1 is what you have to do, and
he was never in jeopardy of losing that match.
You don't want to go out there and make mistakes at the same time.
I also just think, look, he's on a team with guys who maybe weren't supposed to be 3-time national champs, but like guys who are supposed to be amazing in college, right? And Shakur wasn't that full-on blue-chip recruit coming out, right? And so maybe there's a little bit of, I have to put this pressure on myself to live up to what I can feel, which I feel I'm just as good as my teammates. And I'm sure his teammates tell him, like, yeah, dude, you're going to be right there with us. We're all going to be number ones at the end of the year.
So that was 84 with Rashid. 97, Bo Nickel has no peer.
He pinned 5 people.
He pinned them all in the first period, I do believe.
Yeah.
There was 1 in the second.
One in the second.
Wow.
The merciful Bo Nickel.
Congrats to that guy.
Congrats to him.
And then bulk job.
Derek White looked good. I mean, Kassar, and again, another guy kind of didn't have that attack rate that we'd been seeing, and of course, competition increases. But even against Jordan Wood, he was all over him, Anthony Kassar, and against his teammate Nick Nevels at Keystone, he was all over him. But against Derek White, different story. White hits the pass by, and that was it. And Kassar really never got close to a takedown. So it kind of puts a little cools my Kassar NCAA finalist talk, because one of those spots is already occupied by Gable Steveson. I don't know if you've heard. The NCAA recently made an announcement. He's already in the finals, so nothing we can do about that.
Well, the NCAA recently made an announcement that Desi lost and didn't look good at all.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even talk about Mason Perry. They freed Mason. He's clearly ready to go. And I love it. I love that Michigan's going I mean, you look at this heavyweight field, I think he can do it. He's had a really weird up and down kind of. He's lost some weird ones. He's won some good ones. He beat Desi, but it's exciting to have another hammer in the mix at heavyweight. So that's the scuffle, I think.
Q's Muffs?
Yeah.
We had, questions from friends. I don't know why Willie felt compelled to send the questions tweet.
Did that offend you?
He jumped the gun there.
No, it did not offend. No, it didn't offend me, but you did it completely wrong. One, you did it completely wrong. Two.
Why? Because I didn't tag them?
Yes. That is, well, I explained why. One, you didn't tag them. Two,
Okay.
you're not even allowed to answer them because you were rude to
You're
them.
still sticking with that, huh? Well, and
You're
listen,
still rude to them, and you've never shown contrition.
I'm still rude with them. You started off with a 5-minute monologue how they're idiots.
No.
Not the people that
Not
asked
our
the
friends.
Not our friends.
Yeah.
My friends aren't. It's the
listen.
egg avatars.
You said that. That's wrong. That's not true. You said that people were stupid for saying what they said.
You know who didn't ask? You know who didn't ask any questions? No, there wasn't one question about the Teasdale reporting in here, and there was very few. There was maybe one person that said the fixed Soriano match is gonna happen, because our friends listen to FRL and they know what's going on in the world.
They pay attention.
Yeah, you're painting that picture. There are questions that are not worth our time.
Well, there's just only so many hours in the day.
Yeah, we don't
See,
answer every question, but
dismissive.
still.
This is why you're banned from asking for questions.
I'll tell you
Don't you
this.
ever send that tweet again.
Ever.
I will do it. I thought about, should I send this tweet? And I was like,
Yeah,
It
what
could-
compelled you? I do it before every single show. Why do you think I need to ask this? I need to facilitate this right now.
because I was like, I wonder if it's going to tick Christian off. And I'm like, yes, I'm going to do this. And anyway,
He'll forget next show.
You played
how
yourself.
come it's bad for me to say some of the questions are stupid, and you guys make a whole thing about it saying, oh, you're offending our friends, but it's okay for you to not answer half of them.
Because
we can only do so many.
Yeah,
Time
the
allows.
time
do I have to
constraints.
explain to you how
Is that
time
why?
works?
And
Is
then
that
a lot of
why, or
times
is
we'll
it-
go
is
back
it
and we'll
because-
just answer those that we didn't get to on Twitter.
Is that
Yeah.
why, or is it because some of them are terrible?
No, this is why you're banned.
Yep.
I swear
Let's get to this.
we should hang up
Look,
on
go
it.
ahead and cut his mic.
every question that they
And
ask.
you know what? And you know what, Willie? Here's further evidence of your bad judgment. Sam Herring, internet celebrity, taking over. This guy,
Amazing.
you put this guy on the mic, the highest approval rating of any Flow commentator in the history of our company. Okay,
How is that a bad reflection on me? Sam Herring's awesome.
because you don't like the questions from friends, and from the questions from friends comes a new star, Sam
Not
Herring.
even- I didn't
And a
say
new
I don't
friend.
like
Star was
questions.
born. Yeah, and a friend. We met him. You didn't meet
his
him.
little brother was awesome too.
Yeah,
that kid
Eli.
ate 27 chicken wings
26.
and is like 10 years old.
Don't sensationalize. This is how things get out of control. I don't want to put that pressure on Eli, but it was 26 is what he told me.
26.
Eli, and I do want to say, seriously, we're kind of being silly. The Herring family is amazing.
A1.
I mean, these are very, that you can tell these kids have been raised properly. These aren't just like wrestling crazed humans. Good manners. Yes sir, no sir. It was.
Eli's very well spoken.
Yeah. I was like, hey, what's up, Eli? Like after I met him, I'm like, what? Any matches you're looking for? He's like, He's like, there's not one match I'm looking forward to in particular. He's like, talks like a grown man. He's like 8. I was like, oh my word. Anyways, Sam Herring asked some questions, and this is how we discovered Sam. Questions from friends. Thank you, Sam. Of the 10 Scuffle champs this year, which is more likely? 2 NCAA champs or 6 NCAA champs? I think this is a very good question.
Oh, wow.
This is a very good question.
Because I don't know. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4. I think 6 is more likely than 2.
Yes, absolutely.
I think
Because
6 is
I just
more
can't-
likely than 2.
The Penn State 4
Because how are you gonna?
could easily all win.
I mean, it's Bo and Nolf, right? Next topic. Like there's your 2.
There's 2. So then basically you're saying that Dayton, Mark, Chenzo, and even, you know,
Some
you
combination of
give
the
it
others.
of Rashid and you're saying none of those guys win. There's no way. So 6 is more likely. It is not likely, but it is.
Dayton.
It is definitely more likely than 2. So interesting question. Never really thought of it like that. Someone asked Wes Ling at Let Willie Answer. There are several questions about Sam. When we can expect to hear him again, I don't know. Hopefully, open invitation.
told
Any
Sam-
tournament he's at, he can come and commentate.
I told Sam because we're gonna build a studio here in Easton. I told Sam if he wants to come up here and train, if he's up this way, because he's coming to Pennsylvania to train this summer. I said if you're in the area, stop in, jump on the show with me.
All right, maybe you'll rank him. Okay, where do you see Braxton Amos in college? 97 or heavyweight? Also, what schools are players in his recruitment? Basically, all schools. 97 or heavyweight. We'll go to our West Virginia correspondent, Parkersburg own Kyle Brackey.
I believe Braxton believes he is a 97.
97.
And I think we will see him go to 195 next year.
Go down.
Yes. And he was at the Ohio State-NC State duel.
There are a lot of suitors for Braxton, and I don't believe that he is going to make his decision until
He's
going
going
to
take his time for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome family. They're going to take their time, make sure the decision's right. But the usual suspects, I think, are in play.
I don't think he'll end up in West Virginia.
Ooh.
I don't either. I think
don't-
it's
Oh. I don't know why I care.
Is it because of Holgerson?
it actually is.
Yeah.
You know, maybe if Neil Brown comes in and changes his mind, he could end up there. So I don't want to rule that out yet completely.
Man.
But for real, what did you say? Ohio State, Virginia Tech.
So here's the thing. Ohio State, they're going to need 97 here soon, right after Colin Moore, and he's very good friends with Kirkfleet, and he trains with Carson Karchler's dad, who I believe his name is pronounced Moran. Virginia Tech is, of course, in play. They're relatively close. Obviously, they've had West Virginia guys do very well, Jared Hott, and a whole bunch of others. But just like connection-wise, I think those two are definitely high on the list. But look, it's there's going to be like 15 schools, and he's going to slowly narrow them down.
There you go.
No rush on Braxton.
Seth Gross hasn't wrestled all year, even if his back heals. Is there time for him to get into shape for NCAAs? What are changing medical redshirts? I already said I think that's probably going to happen.
Is it a spinal situation?
Yes. He broke his back, spinal, a la Mike Tyson. Yes. I don't think he's going to be back, but we'll find out together. I don't know if I'm going to ask Ben Askren's question or not.
I love it.
I know. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
How good would a Penn State B team be?
Oh, baby.
It seems like the B team would have a national place or Neville's, maybe an A with Verclaren and possibly Pfeiffer. Where would they place at the NCAA finals? And do any other teams have a B team that could do the same?
Really has no chill.
Hashtag Willie has no chill, says Bill.
What does that
Sides.
even mean?
This question
Bill!
triggered me.
This got Brackey fired up all yesterday.
Racky was fired up.
Jared Verclair didn't even place at Scuffle. And we're going to say he's going to AA? Get out of here. Bo Pfeiffer, he lost to Hunter Ladnyard 3 times this year. And Lemon Pie asked a great question. He was like, how pissed is Hunter Ladnyard that Harvard entered Midlands instead of Scuffle?
Yeah, because he's beaten him 3 times.
Yeah. Listen, Penn
Mason
State has
Manville has no ranked wins. He's lost to Trent Hidley, Brandon Womack, Zach Feinsilver. Yeah, the only one that would place is Neville's.
Yeah.
Penn State has some depth, Bill, but their B team probably isn't placing as high as, I don't know. Oklahoma State got some guys. Iowa got some guys.
Yeah, I would say Oklahoma State, if you consider one of Boo or Caden, which maybe you can't consider them right now.
Whoever is their backup at 57, Blaylock or Shomers, both those guys are going to win matches at nationals.
Yeah, maybe.
So
Andrew
if you
Marsden's
consider
a title contender.
if you consider Weigel on the shelf, somebody's going to be squeezed.
Yeah, because
out
hey,
there.
Gear or Waggle would be on the shelf.
right, and those guys aren't. So yeah, there's times where Penn State's had a lot of really good B team, like last year with Kassar, guy beat the number 1 seed, and just Shakur won the spot. Okay, this is I don't know why I keep forgetting about this. Thoughts on the Muay Thai clinch from Mark Hall? He did it some. I think Kassar even did it some as well. And so internet name at D Takedowns was Mark Hall using the double collar tie as a stall tactic in the Southern Scuffle final match against Joe Smith. Well, listen, if you do something where you can't score from it and your opponent can't score from it, maybe by definition that is stalling. I'm not judging Hall for doing it, but if you're doing this, you're not interested in scoring points, right? I mean, by definition, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No one else cares. Cool. All right, we'll move on.
Well,
Hey, welcome. Oh, welcome back. Nomad's here.
I'm looking up another question.
You're looking
Answer to another
you
question.
ain't no. He has John Tringe stats pulled up. John Tringe.
Because I'm
Why are you looking up John Trent?
because somebody asked us about the highest bonus rate in NCAA history, and I wanted to
Okay.
confirm that Cale Sanderson had not bonused his way through an entire season, as Bo Nickel is on pace to do.
John
It all comes back to Tringe. Daggone it. I'm trying to talk about Muay Thai clinches. Look over, heads down, and he's got Tringe. At least he has Twitter up. That somewhat relates
trying
to
to
his
answer.
job.
I'm just trying to answer another question from friend.
What was Jesse Sundell's bonus rate? Pull up his stat.
All right. Moving on. Fine. No one cares about that. I don't understand. I think it's a pretty interesting thing that all of a sudden some Penn State guys are using a tie like that. I think it's of note.
Didn't we determine it could be?
It is
construed
of
as
no.
illegal?
I don't know what to make of it.
No, that's
Yes,
I don't see how it could be illegal.
somebody else said it might be illegal.
If you have your hands clasped around their head,
I don't know.
as such, without an arm,
Technically, it's a legal headlock.
yeah.
That's what the Oklahoma State guys were saying in the
Yes.
airport. But I don't think that's I don't know.
We should get a rules book.
We'll get a rule book.
No, this is what we'll do. We'll wait for Brock Height to listen, and then he'll tell us.
He'll send us
Oh,
he'll send a
Brock, we'll send
screenshot.
I can't
Look
wait.
at his diagrams.
He's already got it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, next cue from F. What is happening at 125 at Penn State? We'll find out this weekend, I think, what they're going to do there. Biggest surprise at Midlands and Scuffle. Biggest surprise for me was Spencer losing and Joe Smith looking freaking amazing. Would Bowenolf have won the Scuffle weight with one hand tied behind their back? I'm not ready to rule it
Likely.
out. I'm
No.
not ready to rule it out.
I'm ready to go there, likely.
I'm 60-40 yes. But maybe that's crazy. But you never know.
Eric Shares has the best question.
This is great. Any chance we can get Nomad to come out with 15 seconds left in FRL segments and act as a towel boy with a pool noodle while standing behind piles and counting down from 5?
Sure.
Yeah, there's a chance. There's a strong chance.
Oh my God, that's great.
You act like that isn't a conversation we've had before. Indiana Matt. Who's the next Flo bro to get married? Willie Spay or Nomad? I think there's a clear answer here. I think there's a clear answer, but I'm going to go to Kyle first. I don't want these two to answer.
Nomad's last.
No, Nomad's first.
Nomad's first.
Wow.
Nomad will come.
How am I last?
Yeah, because Nomad,
Because you don't want to get married.
You don't know
Lord.
that.
Yeah.
When have I ever said that?
he's never said
You don't
that.
have to say it.
Here's why, and here's what's going to happen. He's just going to come back married one day. There's going to be a weekend. He's not going to come in on Friday because Nomad thinks he doesn't have to work on Fridays. We never see him on Fridays.
That's not true. That's not true. I don't come into work. I do plenty of work on Fridays.
This is what Nomad
Go
for
into
like
the
a
office.
month straight. For like a month straight, Nomad on Thursdays would be like, "You coming in tomorrow?" I'd be like, "Yeah," and then he'd ask like 4 other people around us. We'd all be like, "Yeah," and then he just wouldn't show up.
I don't know why he asked. I guess he's like, wait, if no one's here, I'll come.
That Nomad meets his wife because she found his wallet somewhere.
So
Yeah.
I just think one U.S. Open, he's going to meet Mrs. Right or Mrs. Right now. He's going to go to a little wedding chapel in Vegas. He's going to come back, and we're just going to find out between sessions he got married.
Here's the thing,
See,
though.
I could see that from Spey.
No!
Like he just gets banged up one night and then he wakes up and he's like, "Oh man, I did that last
so much
night."
more pragmatic than Nomad. Nomad
I
is
don't
just,
know. Spay and once events are over, it's a different animal.
I know, but you're the ultimate animal. You're the wild animal. You're untamed.
He ain't getting married in Vegas.
Willie's already been married, so he's disqualified.
I want nothing to do with marriage.
Yeah. It's to me it's Nomad. One Friday when he's skipping work.
I'm saying Spey. Spey's gonna find love in like the produce aisle
I
here
would
at
say
HEB or
in a
something.
in a hopeless place.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
mean, listen, before Spey gets married, there is a spreadsheet with pivot tables analyzing why he should or should not do this.
Yes.
I mean, it's a whole complicated thing.
There'll be tax considerations. Yes, of course. You're not going to not consider the tax rate.
Investment opportunities.
Yes. Does the Spencer loss and or the way he lost basically eliminate him from the Hodge consideration?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, he can't win the Hodge. I mean,
Everyone else has to lose.
everyone else has to lose, and he still has to have improve his bonus rate because he's not bonusing as high of a rate. Basically, you have to say no one goes undefeated this year, which I don't know if has ever happened.
Currently, Bo Nichols.
David Jensen's.
What'd you say?
David Jensen's undefeated.
He's got to catch the likes of Nickel, Nolf, Jensen.
Bo Nickel. So the dominant score thing, which like treats every match like a dual meet, is Nichols is 5.58, which means you're more likely to get a pin from him than a tech, which is bonkers. And then Bader posted that tweet. It's like, when's the next time Bo Nickel won't get a pin? And I don't know what the answer is. It might be forever.
Oh, stop.
He might pin his way through the rest of the season.
He will have a.
It's in play.
He will have a decision this year.
It's in play.
decision?
Colin Moore is
Think about
our
this.
lone
He is
holdout.
not going to bonus his way the
I mean,
entire
he pinned
year.
Miles Martin.
You want to bet Pinky on that?
Yeah, let's bet a pinky.
No, I'm not betting a pinky. I'll bet you. I'll bet another 3-piece on it. No biscuit.
That he pins his way through?
No, that he has a decision at some point along the way.
No, man, you're going to take that?
Dude, no man, take that. A decision?
Yeah.
He has to have one decision this year.
Yep.
You don't think he's going to have one decision this year?
Who against who?
It doesn't matter who.
I know, but like
No,
I'm
I
just
mean,
saying,
who
like
thought-
I don't see.
It's Colin Moore, and can Colin
Yeah,
Moore
it's
not
Colin
get
Moore. Two
not
shots
get-
against Colin Moore.
I don't like that matchup.
I don't like it either. I don't think he's going to win.
I know that.
Brucky.
Yeah, Brucky.
I don't know if he's gonna end up hitting Brucky.
Brucky at Nationals, they could. Brucky's probably
Listen,
your better example
He
there.
had decisions last year against Abinator 6-3, 13-7, 10-4 against Jordan Ellingwood, 13-7 Max Dean. That's at NCAAs.
Yep.
7-4 Miles Martin, 5-2 Emery Parker.
Keep living in the past, bro.
6-5 Gravina. He hasn't wrestled anybody.
You literally
Who has
just
he
said
wrestled?
like earlier that 197 is a. You basically called it a dumpster. fire.
Okay.
Make the bet, Nomad. Walk
Yeah.
the walk.
Yeah.
Don't take the bet, no, man.
No, do it, Nomad.
No.
Forget Willie.
You make the bet.
I'll make the bet if he was the one that came
I
said
offered-
it, so I was letting him try to do it first.
I don't want your chicken
I
money.
don't want a 3-piece. I don't like the 3-piece.
Hey, hold on.
What do you want?
I don't
The chicken-
let me think
hold
about
on.
it. Let me think
I
about
get
it.
a
Let me think about
3-piece.
it. Let me think about it.
Nomad, didn't one time Nomad owe you chicken and got you canes?
No,
He just gave him money.
No, that's what Willie did.
No,
he
that's
never gave me the chicken.
I offered to give him money, and he wouldn't because that
undefeated
bet
in
was
chicken bets.
contingent on a certain seed, and then it changed. And the dude made
He totally
the
lied.
dude
Yeah,
made
he's
the,
lying right
the-
now.
This is-
No, that's not true. It was contingent upon a certain seed. 'Cause I had it all mapped out,
No.
and it was fine. And he ended up wrestling for third at Final X anyway.
Is anybody taking this bet?
Apparently not.
Not for chicken. Not for
I'll
chicken.
take
but
it.
Three-piece.
I'll
got-
3-piece.
Three-piece
Oh.
bet. I am
chicken bets
pretty
are
sure I'm
now
undefeated in chicken bets on this show. So
Chicken fights, we call them now.
chicken. One decision is all I need, and I get chicken. You still owe me chicken, Willie.
I will get you chicken. What do you want me to have it delivered?
That'd be kind of funny.
Oh,
You should do that.
it's 9:32. What the heck?
I know.
We're still
What-
going about
Do we have
chicken.
any more questions?
The questions were really, really
wait,
good.
hold on. Somebody's asking about Spencer, and we got in this nickel thing. Can you imagine if Bo continues at this pace?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine Jason Nolf never winning the Hodge?
It's pretty crazy.
Insane.
I mean, he's an all-timer.
All-timer.
Okay, we'll close with this one. Well, actually, no, there's two. Would you rather fight 1 Gable-sized nomad or 6 nomad-sized Gables? Now,
That is the greatest tweet.
Dan or Stevenson? Because it kind of changes things. But at the same time, I think I'm going with...
It's 6. Because Gable's only like 100 pounds bigger than me.
Mm-hmm.
If there's 6 of him, that's like...
Well, here's the thing. If it's Stevenson, you've got to go 6
That's like
nomad
780
size.
pounds. It's a 500-pound advantage.
They have to be talking about Stevenson right here.
If they're talking about Stevenson, a Gable-sized nomad. I'm going with the
All right,
Gable-sized nomad.
No, Gable-sized nomad is like 250. 6 of me's is like
Yeah, I just want
780,
the one.
800.
Yeah, the one. That's what we want.
Yeah,
the same
yeah.
thing. Give me a giant nomad. I don't want 6 little
Yeah,
Gables. 6
Yeah.
little Gables
No.
will tear me. He's not that
Eight-
small.
Yeah, that's-
800 pounds of Gables.
If Gable was
Come on.
was 75 pounds, okay, maybe. Or if you were 75 pounds, all right, I consider it. You're 120, 130 pounds. Yeah, give me the giant nomad.
Yeah.
I'll roll the dice there that your shoulder dislocates or something. All right, really last question, another Gable one. Your take on the aggressiveness of Gable and whether or not it is too much. It is not too much.
No, I don't care. I hope he continues to do it just to piss all of you off.
I don't think it's that bad. He is definitely, he is, and Askren mentioned this. He's playing a character. He's being a heel, and he's really, really, really good at it. I don't see a lot of rules breaking. If he gets hit for a 1-pointer one time, okay, fine. I have no issue with it whatsoever.
Guys, please watch any top guy. Jason Nolf raked a kid's wiener.
Say it.
He raked a kid's dick, okay? That was not cool.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. There is literally video of it.
It was his
talking about
foot.
the
He
one with the
didn't
foot?
know.
Bull crap.
Push the
Bull
He wasn't
crap.
Especially kicking him in the dick.
No, he didn't kick him. He raked it. He
wasn't
put his
raking him.
shoe
Hold on,
on it
hold on.
and
All
went
right.
like
He was
that.
trying to push that knee away.
Now look, that wasn't cool, but my point is, basically every good wrestler is a dick. Like that is basically what it requires to be a good wrestler. You are aggressive, you are physical, you push the boundaries of the rules. Like it's okay. It is okay, guys.
I don't listen.
We went through this with Metcalf.
Hold on.
I love it.
Yeah.
But it's not true. It's not true that it's a requirement and it's something that
It's not a requirement, but if
Well,
but
you
it's,
just
it's
said- hold on.
overwhelming.
All right, buddy. But you just said literally everyone, and it's not true that literally every elite guy. Not all number ones wrestle like this. It's actually pretty rare. And Nolf is not characterized as a guy that typically does it. Every single match, Gable Stevenson is shoving, face mushing, being demonstrative. I have no issue with it, but don't act like, oh yeah, Spencer's doing that and Seth Gross is doing. Seth Gross.
People complain about Spencer Lee's arm bars all the time.
That's not what they're talking about. That's not what they're talking
But
about.
it's the
not what they're talking
brutality.
about.
It's the I'm talking about the overall brutality of being a top guy. Like
not what
overwhelmingly,
people
the
are
top guys
complaining
are
about.
brutal because that's what wrestling is. It's brutal. It sucks. Like it's hard.
Like Yanni's not brutal. It's Matthew Kolazik's not brutal. They're really skilled guys. Vincenzo Joseph's not brutal.
Part of the skill is making the other guy quit and pushing the line. Like
Okay, then you can say some people do that, but not.
You can't
it's
say
it's more good guys than not.
I don't know.
No,
I
that's
just
not true.
named like 5 that I don't think do. All right, that's enough. It's time to go.
Good guys are mean.
Play
generally
us
speaking.
out.
Thank you for that.
Hit
Nomad.
him.
That was
Tap him,
incredible.
Nomad.
They're playing the wrong song, but that's okay. We're not going to restart the show. We're going to end the show.
Aloha.
It's time
Get
to
the full
go.
noodle.
There it is.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Flow Wrestling Radio Live.
Loud.
We will be back Thursday with so much to talk about.
A lot of predictions.
A lot of predictions. Probably more chicken bets, which is good because I win them exclusively. So you guys are bad at making bets. Kyle, the most recent victim.
No, Bo, let's do this.
Bo, come on, let one slide. 7-pointer ain't gonna kill you. You got the Hodge, buddy. We'll be back Thursday to talk all the great matches. Thank you to A6. Thank you to you. Thanks for your patience. An hour and 37 minutes. Good energies, start to finish. See you guys.